So this is where we were, right? Before Zoom cut. So we had 4 times 3 because this square root canceled out of that squared there, and then we got a 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. Are we all okay?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So do you see these are just simple calculations that you can do, like I'd say, without a calculator. But you know that once you are here, you can put this in your calculator and get 12, right?
Yes. Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, like now we are going to go to some expressions whereby you'll be given an instruction of to simplify said expressions without using a calculator. But please note that those questions actually require you to use a calculator. But now we are always gonna use a calculator in a smart way. We are gonna use it, but in a we are gonna use this calculator, but in a smart way. Right. So are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And what will we be using this calculator for? We'll just be using the calculator to find the factors of the numbers inside the third sign. So that's you'll be finding. Are you okay?
Mm.
Okay. So now let's go to the textbook and find quick examples so that we can. I like doing textbook examples first before you go on to proper problems because it's only at the end of the topic where I choose to do past paper questions. But whilst you are still dealing with the topic, I love referring to the textbook, and which is what you guys should also be doing. Whenever you are practicing, start first with the textbook problems. Build your knowledge from the textbook, and then once you are done with the topic, then go and look for questions related to that topic from the past papers. Don't be too eager to go to the past paper questions first. First, build understanding and knowledge and problem solving from the textbook. And then afterwards, that's when you can now reach out to past papers for further assessment and then now further understanding on the concepts. But first, build your foundation with the textbook. Are you guys with me?
Mm.
Okay. So now let's go to the textbook examples. So they'll be saying, I'll show you. So they'll be saying we should simplify this. You will have to simplify. Let me get the second question so that we don't have to refer to this a lot of times. So yeah, so you'll be tasked with simplifying this without the use of a calculator. So now, what are you gonna use the calculator for? You're just gonna have to find the factors of 18 for me from the calculator. So I'm gonna say 18 and then press equal sign and then say shift fact. And I'm gonna get 18 as being equal to 2 times 3 squared. right? Are we okay?
Yes.
So square root
Yes.
of 18 is just going to be equal to the square root of what? 2 times 3 squared. And remember that now we have two numbers side a set side. So I can separate these two numbers. So I'm going to have the square root of 2 times the square root of 3 squared. And this is just going to be what? The square root of 2 because I can't simplify it any further. But this, since I have a square root and a square inside, this square root and this square are going to cancel each other. And I'm going to be left with how much? 3. So the answer to this is just 3, the square root of what? 2. And you can put in the square root of 18 into the calculator and you're going to get the same answer. But you see, we did it without the use of a calculator because we followed some steps. And the calculator is just going to give you this without actually these intermediate steps. Are you guys okay?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's go on to the next question, which says it has a cube root of 54. So what do we know? We know we go to the calculator to find the factors of what? 54. So we say what we punch in 54, then equal sign, and then we say shift fact. So 54, we know that from the calculator, 54 is equal to 2 multiplied by 3 cubed, right? So check. So this is the cube root of 54. So I'm going to have, say, cube root of 2 multiplied by 3 cubed, right? So look, I have the cube root of two numbers which are multiplying each other inside. So this means that I can separate because I have a multiplication sign in what? In between. But in case it was an addition sign or a subtraction, I do not, I do not, I do not separate, right? I only separate when I have a multiplication sign in between, right? So now I'm going to separate this into the cube root of 2 multiplied by the cube root of 3 cubed, right? And then look, the cube root of 2 is not, it's not an important number because it's irrational. So I can leave it as cube root of 2. And then times this cube root and this exponent of 2 are going to cancel each other out. I'm going to get 3. So the answer to this is 3 cube root of 2. So yes, so you guys see how we deal with such problems.
Yes.
Okay. So now let's go back to the textbook and seek further problems. So we are gonna do like the first, all of these four problems, we are gonna do them. And then I'm gonna do some questions from here. So look now, we're actually given that. Ugh, I don't know what happened. So let's do these first two questions. We are tasked to simplify this without the use of a calculator. So now I first try to find the factors of whatever is inside the nth root, right? So 12, when I put it into the calculus, I'm going to say 12 equals sign shift fact. It's going to give me what? 12 is equal to 2 squared times what? 3. And then 75 is equal to I punch in 75 is equal to shift fact. I get 3 times 5 squared, right? So I'm going to now have square root of 2 squared times 3 plus 4 square root of 3 times 5 squared, right? And this is just going to give us how much? Because I have the same nth root, I can separate because I have multiplication sign in between. So I'm going to have the square root of 2 squared times the square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 3 times square root of 5 squared, right? And then I know that this square root and this exponent of 2 are going to cancel each other out, so I'm going to have 2. And the square root of 3 is irrational, it's just a set, so I'm going to have square root of 3 plus 4, what? So I have multiplication all in between here. So I have 4 square root of 3 because it's not in, it's a third, but then this square root and this exponent of 2 are going to cancel each other out, which is just going to give me what? 5. And then now I have all of these three numbers multiplying each other. So here I still have 2 square root of 3. So plus, I can now multiply what? 4 with what? With 5. And I'm going to get what? 20 square root of what? 3. And remember, there's a law that says as long as I have this same nth root here, I can just simply add the numbers in front. So I'm going to have what? 2 plus 20, it's just going to be what? 22 root of what? 3. Are you guys okay with this?
Mm. Yes,
Guys,
sir.
is there any step that you don't understand?
No, sir.
You are all flowing.
No. Yes.
Someone said no. Are you guys all on the same page with me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's move on to the second question. Number 2. It's saying we are given what? 2 plus 3 square root of 2, all what? All squared, right? So because here you are given what? 2 brackets, all square. So you can just open 2 brackets, 2 plus 3 square root of 2 into 2 plus 3 square root of what? 2. And then you know when you are just going to apply what? The FOIL method, right? So you're going to multiply the first terms. 2 times 2 is going to give you what? 4. And multiply the outer
Oh.
terms. 2 multiplied by 3 root 2. So it's going to be plus 2 multiplied by 3 square root of what? 2. Right? And I'm going to come to the inner terms, which is this one and that one. I'm going to have plus 2 times 3 square root of 2 again. Right? And I'm going to multiply my last terms, which is that and that term. So it's going to be what? Plus what? Uh, so it's just going to be what? 3 square root of 2 basically all squared because I'm multiplying the same thing. I have a 3 here, 3 square root of 2, and here I have a 3 square root of 2. Are you guys okay?
Yes, sir.
So I have 4 plus,
Yes.
here's just gonna be 6 square root of 2, right? 6 square root of 2 plus, even here it's gonna be 6 square root of 2. Plus this number here, since it's an exponent of 2 here, and then I have two different bases inside, I'm gonna say 3 to exponent of 2 times, I also have this square root of 2 raised to exponent of what? 2. So I go down now. I have 4 plus, here I have the same root signs, so I can just add the numbers in. So 6 plus 6 is gonna be what? 12 root 2. But here I'm gonna have plus what? 3 squared is what? Is 9 times this square root is gonna cancel out with that squared. So I'm gonna have 9 times what? 2. So this whole thing is gonna be what? 4 plus 9 times 2. It's gonna be what? 4 plus 9 times 2 is gonna give me 22. So I'm gonna have 22 plus 12 root of 2. Are you guys okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'll just call this method. I'll just say it's there. It's the long way. It's the long way, right? So I'm just gonna
Yes.
teach you guys a shortcut, right? A shortcut, a shortcut for dealing with when you are, because remember here you are multiplying the same brackets, right? So here you're multiplying the same brackets. Are you okay? Do you guys understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna give this shortcut only works when you are multiplying the same bracket. So this means that I have x plus y all squared, which is just the same as x plus y times the bracket of x plus y again. So I'm gonna give you a shortcut for dealing with something like this, right? So the shortcut, we are gonna call it the SMS method. SMS. SMS is in the same SMS that you send to your friend to visit your house, right? So by this SMS method, this means that you are gonna square the first term. So you're gonna square first term, right? And then you are gonna, by M, we mean you are gonna what? Oh, I'll explain the M last. And then the last S means that you are gonna square the the second term. So remember, this is the first term, this is the second term, right? And now let me explain what the M means. The M means you are just gonna what? Multiply the product of the first term and second term by 2. So I know this is a long English sentence, but it just simply means that you have to get the product of the first term and the second term. That's where you just multiply the first and the second. So it's going to be x times y. And then after you get this product of the first term and the second term, you're going to multiply this product by how much? By 2. So you're going to have 2 times xy. So it's going to be 2xy. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes. So now let's apply the SMS method to this problem. The x plus y squared. So what are you going to get? I square the first term, so it's going to be x squared. And now what is the product of the first term and the second term? It's going to be x times y. And then that same product, I'm going to multiply it by how much? By 2, which is going to give me what? 2xy. And it's positive, right? So I'm going to have plus 2xy. And then plus now, I square the last term, y squared. Are you okay with this?
Yes, sir.
Let me give you another example now. 2x plus y all squared. So what? I square the what? The first term. What is my first term? It's 2x, right? When I square 2x, I'm going to get what? 4x squared. You guys know that.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get 4x squared. And then now I'm going to multiply the first term and the second term. So I'm going to say 2xy 2x times y is going to give me 2xy. And then that 2xy, which is 2xy is the product of the first and the second, I'm going to multiply it all by what? 2, which is going to give me 4xy. So here I'm going to get 4xy. And then here I'm going to just square the last term, which is going to be plus y squared. You guys see the SMS method?
Yes.
Guys?
Mm.
Guys?
Yes, sir.
Amandla, did you raise your hand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's about the previous solution that we just did.
Feel ask.
Sir, can you explain how we got to 22?
Okay, we'll get there now, right?
Okay.
But for now, do you guys understand the SMS method?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let me give you one last example. It's gonna be 3x plus 2y all squared. So what do? I square the first term. It's gonna be what? 9x squared. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
And then now I multiply the first term and the last term. So it's gonna be 3x times 2y is gonna be 6xy. And then this 6xy I multiply it by how much? by 2. It's going to give me plus 12xy, right? And then I square the second term, which is going to give me 4y squared. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So we got this whole thing by using the SMS method. So now let me go back and answer Amandle's question, how we got 20. Oh, so it's going to be 9 times 2 plus 4. Remember here we have a 9 times 2. It's going to be 18. Remember 9 times 2 is equal to 18. So 18 plus 4 is how much? It's 22. So do you get the value of 22, Amandle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's apply the SMS method to this very same problem, because I said that this is the problem we need. So let's do letter 2 using the SMS method. So number 2, we are given 2 plus 3 square root of 2 all squared. So what are we going to first do? Square the first term. What is 2 squared? It's 4, right?
Yes.
Plus, we multiply the first term and the second term. So we're going to have 2 times 3 square root of what? 2. This is going to give us what? 6 root what? 2. And we multiply this whole thing by now how much? By 2. Going to give us what? 12 root 2. Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
We are now going to square the last term, which is just going to give us, which is just going to be what? 3 root 2 squared. It's just going to be what? 3 squared is how much? It's 9 times the square root of 2 all squared is just going to be how much? 2. So it's going to be 9 times 2 here. And we are just going to get what? 22 plus 12 root 2. You see, this is, we just use the word a short cut. Are you guys happy with the shortcut?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Because this, you can just put it in your what? In your calculator. Even this, you can just put it in your calculator and get the answer as 12 root 2. Put it in your calculator and see how much it gives you. You're going to say 6 root 2 times 2. It's going to give you 12 root 2. So do you see how we do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me just get the 2 last problems, and then, yeah, I think I will have got enough for the day, and then we'll just continue tomorrow, right? We'll just continue tomorrow with further problems. Because we guys have like 5 free lessons, right? Only like 5. So we're gonna, once we get to the last one, we'll be done with the official 3 lessons. But you'll be done with your first topic of grade 11. So yay, that's a win. And you'll be done with it before your teacher finishes it with in class. So yeah, you'll have a bit of an advantage over your peers. So now let's now do this number 3. So number 3, we are given what? Square root of 48 minus square root of 3 all over square root of 27. Is there anything that we can do to the square root of 48? Yes. We can expand 48 into its factors. But square root of 3, there's nothing we can do, right? So it's fine as it is. Square root of 27, we can expand 27 into its factors. So now let's find the factors of 48. So 48 is going to be equal to how much? 48 equals sign shift fact. It's going to be 2 to the exponent of 4 times what? 3. And then let me look at 27. 27 is equal to, back, 27 is just equal to 3 cubed, right? So let me now apply this.
Yes.
So now this is just going to be equal to square root of 2 to the exponent of 4 times 3 minus root 3 all over square root of 3 cubed, right? So now we continue. So I have the same nth root all inside, and inside of the square root, I have two numbers multiplying each other, so I can separate the two numbers into two separate square roots. So I'm going to have the square root of 2 to the exponent of 4 times square root of 3 minus root of 3 all over, right? Let me say I still have the 3 cubed. Let me deal with what is on the top first. So this, I can take it and put it into my calculator because, yeah, so okay, but without me putting it into my calculator, I can see I'm going to have 2 to the exponent of 4, all to the exponent of what? 1 over 2, right? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Times square root of what? 3 minus root what? 3 all over. Here it's going to be what? 3 to the exponent of 3 all to the exponent of what? 1 over 2. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be equal to, that's, so 2 to the exponent, so 4 times 1 over 2 is going to give us what? 2, right? 4 times 1 over 2 is going to give us how much? 2, right? And 2 to the exponent of 2 is just equal to how much? 2? 4. So you can just put this in your calculator. It's just going to give you what? 4. So you're going to have 4 root 3 minus root 3 all over 3 to the exponent of what? 3 over 2. Are you okay? Huh? So look here now. Here you're gonna you can look at root of 3 as highest common factor. So that's where now you're gonna have 4. You're gonna have 4 minus 1, which is just gonna give you what? 3. So you're gonna have 3 square root of 3 all over 3 to the exponent of 3 over 2. So here you know you have 3 to the exponent of, here it's a multiplication sign, right? And remember yesterday I told you guys that in case I have A times B all over C, it's the same as what? A over C all times what? B, right? So in this case, I can choose to divide, because here it's a base of 3 and here it's a base of 3. I can just say I have 3 all over 3 to the exponent of what? 3 over 2. All multiplied by the square root of what? 3. So this is going to give me how much? I'll just put this in the calculator and have divided by 3 to the exponent of what? 3 over 2. So it's just going to be, I have an exponent of 1 here. So it's going to be 3 to the exponent of what? 1 minus 3 over 2. What is 1 minus 3 over 2? It's going to be negative 1 over 2. So here I still have square root of 3. So here it's going to be 3 to the exponent of negative 1 over 2 times what? Here, this square root of 3 can be expressed as 3 to the exponent of what? 1 over 2. So now I'm multiplying two of the same base. So I'm going to get 3 to the exponent of what? Negative 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2. So that's going to be 3 to the exponent of what? 0, which is equal to 1. You guys got to 1. Or from here, you could have just said, okay, I have 3 to the exponent of 1 times 3 to the exponent of what? 1 over 2. Right? All over 3 to the exponent of what? 3 over 2. And then here you're going to add these exponents. You're going to get 3 to the exponent of 1 plus 1 over 2. It's going to be 3 to the exponent of what? 3 over 2 all over 3 to the exponent of 3 over 2. You can notice that by laws of exponents, you're going to get 3 to the exponent of what? You're going to say 3 over 2 minus 3 over 2, which is just going to give you 3 to the exponent of what? 0, which is equal to 1. So this is an or. Guys, are we still okay? Guys,
Sir,
you guys understand? Huh?
uh, we have 4 square root of 3 minus square root of 3, ne? Why don't we take square root of 3 as the highest common factor?
We did that. Hence, we have 4 minus 1, which is 3.
Okay.
Remember that this is just going to be what? It's just going to be 4 minus 1, and then we still keep the root of 3. All over 3 to exponent of 3 over 2. So this is just going to be the same as 3 square root of 3 all over 3 over 2. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So guys, are we all on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. So let me now go to the next problem so that we can be done and dusted for the day. So the next problem is, okay, I'm going to write going towards the right. So we are given 4 minus 16 times x to exponent 9 all over square root of what? X, right? So now look, this 4 is multiplying this x to exponent of 9, and this 16 is multiplying this x to exponent of 9. So we can just separate this as what? Square root of 4 times x to exponent of what? 9, right? Minus root of 16 times root of x to exponent of 9 all over root of what? X. You guys understand?
Yes.
Sir.
Okay. So you can take this and put it, so you know that this is just gonna be what? 2, right? Times x to exponent of 9 all to the, we are now rewriting it in exponential form. So that is exponent 1 over 2. Here we have minus root of 16, that's gonna be what? 4 times, even here we are gonna have x to exponent of 9 all to exponent of what? 1 over 2. So we are rewriting the third in exponential form. Even underneath, we are going to have x to exponent of what? 1 over 2. We are fine with that, right? So here we are going to
Yes.
have 2 times what? X to exponent of what? 9 over 2 minus 4 times x to exponent of what? 9 over 2 all over x to exponent of what? 1 over 2. Now notice something. You have this x to exponent of 9 over 2, x to exponent of 9. So you can take it out as a what? As a highest common what? Factor. Are you guys okay?
Yes, sir.
So let me quickly do that. So I'm gonna get 2 minus 4, and then I have x to exponent of 9 over 2 outside, all over x to exponent of what? 1 over 2. And then here I'm gonna get 2 minus 4, it's just gonna be what? Negative 2 to exponent of x to exponent of 9 over 2 all over x to exponent of what? 1 over 2, right? And then here's the multiplication sign, right? So it's just a constant, this thing. But I see that, so I can have negative 2 times, I told you now, I can just choose to divide these two last. So I'm going to have x to exponent of 9 over 2 all divided by x to exponent of what? 1 over 2. Because I have multiplication in between, I can choose whether I want to divide this 2 by x to exponent of 1 over 2, or I want to divide x to exponent of 9 over 2 by this x to exponent of 1 over 2. Because I told you guys yesterday that in case I have a times b all over c, I can rewrite it as what? As a over c times b, or I can write it as what? As b over c times what? Times the a. right? So I actually choose which one I want to divide by. So I chose to divide the x's because they are the same base. So I'm gonna be left with negative 2 times ax to exponent of what? 9 over 2 minus 1 over 2. So I'm gonna get negative 2 times 9 over 2 minus 1 over 2 is gonna be 8 over x to exponent of what? 8 over 2, which just simplifies to negative 2 times x to exponent of what? 4. Are you guys okay with the problem? The solution?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys okay?
Yes, sir.
So I think we have done sufficient examples. So tomorrow we'll be doing real problems. I'll be solving them and I'm going to give you guys a few. So yeah, for now, yeah, let me just show the meeting so that we can end the class. And let me pause the recording.